Hello, Matthias. Nice to meet you. So, I don't know much about you. I know that you are a professor at high school of philosophy in Sweden, and you're doing also philosophical practice for the last 5 years. I love Sweden very much. And now I hear that you have an issue, a problem, a question that you would like to discuss with me. Maybe you care to share it with us and the audience.
Yes. Well, my issue is that, well, I've always been very focused on, say, understanding things, on intellectual endeavors, right? And it hasn't, most of my life looked like this would be any problem. I enjoyed it and so on. But then I've considered this thing that maybe I have been too focused on this intellectual path in life, and then maybe missing out on other things because I spent so much time focusing on this, learning, studying, educating myself, trying to understand things. So kind of remaining in my brain, so to speak, is very cerebral activity, and maybe disregarding other parts of life. That would be the issue.
What, for example, what what other points in life?
Something more practical could be working with my body. It could be focus more on connection, relation to other people. Since the intellectual part is rather, working on my own, being on my own. So I would say the practical and the connection with other people are the two main things that come to mind. Or maybe some artistic things as well that could have been explored.
So, when you talk about artistic, you mean a kind of self-expression that won't be only understanding, but expressing maybe yourself artistically, emotionally, physically. Would that be about expression?
Yes, yes.
You think that in understanding the self is not active, is actually passive in receiving knowledge? How did you generally study it? In a passive way, that you have to open yourself widely to receive knowledge,
Generally,
or
it
differently?
generally it has been passive like this. Yeah.
Okay. So it seems from what you say that it's not so much being cerebral. Einstein was cerebral, yes, but he was very creative, yes. Einstein, for example, it's not so much being cerebral than maybe understanding, studying in a certain way in which you are a passive receptacle, and that all knowledge or wisdom or truth come, and all your effort is to understand that, to make room for that in you. Would that be the model of learning that you use?
Um, yes, I think so. It makes sense. Yes. But yeah, to open yourself up
Okay.
and then to try to understand it and analyze it and maybe reformulate it in some ways. But I think what would be lacking here from my part is the creation, the addition of something new. So it's more receiving knowledge, analyzing, understanding it, and not so much, at least, creating, adding something to it.
When you used to study and understand, were you challenged to bring your own opinion, your critical opinion, your assessment of the thing, or only making sure that you understood it?
It has happened that I was expected to bring my own criticism and challenge, yes. So yeah, it has happened.
So do you have difficulty with that, with bringing the challenges of thinking or engaging with the knowledge, or you find no problem with that?
Eventually, not such a big problem. No, it was okay.
So when it comes to understanding and cerebral things, is there not a place for self-expression in cerebral things first?
Yes, there can be a place for self-expression. Yes.
So what you're missing is self-expression in cerebral things or in other domains?
In other domains, yes. Because I do,
You
yes,
think
express myself in cerebral domains. Yes, more and more. So then it would be rather in other domains. Yes.
you think that you have prioritized the brain over other aspects of your being?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So may I ask you, what are the other aspects of a human being? You talked about the body, you talked about relation. Can you elaborate a little bit? What would be valuable or worthy aspects of the human being that you did not explore, if it's not too personal?
No. Well, when it comes to using the body, it could be creating something, let's say creating something physical, making something with your hands or building something, or where you feel that you are not just, or I am not just thinking about things, but I'm actually using my body to transform something, transform reality, making some things in the physical world, not just in the mental world. So, and when it comes to relations, connections, it would be, yeah, instead of, let's say, a dialogue with a text, a dialogue with something which is more static in a way because it's already written down. There would be a dialogue with another human being, which you could say in a way is more unpredictable because you have to react in the moment to the other person. And there could be more of a challenge. I'm not so much in control of the situation. So if I engage with a text, I'm more in control. I can decide what I want to do with it. But with another human being, no, there is completely different sort of resistance. The other person might not like you, they might resist you or respond to you in different ways, which you have to respond to, so that there will be a kind of interaction that is missing, I think.
So the spontaneity of it, the fact that it's not under your control, it's not dead matter or dead words, that you decide if they come alive or not or when. The fact that suddenly, like a philosopher comes out of the tomb, and it's a living person, and so you have no control of that. Is this what frightens you or stops you or make you pause?
I think so. Yes, the lack of control. Yes, the lack of control, the fear of making mistakes, the unpredictability. I think so, yes, that stops me.
Yeah. So the question, the problem, the issue that interested you and you brought at the beginning of the meeting, was it in order to say that you regret that you didn't do it, or that you are somehow stopped in doing it now?
Um, well, a bit of both, but I would think mainly that I'm stopped to doing it now. I think that would be the main issue.
And you think you stopped from doing it now because maybe you are not so experienced in that? Sartre talking about Jean-Paul Sartre way, it's a question of habit. Till now, original project you chose one thing. So he would say, just do it now, and that's it. There is no trait of character like that. Yes, it's just a question of habit. I'll tell you a story, just a moment. I used to tell years when I was parking a car, oh, I cannot park a car. Even when I studied, I failed the test because I couldn't park. And then I had another test and I couldn't park. And he said, anyway, I will let you have the test, etc. And then there was one day, I think I was 40, there was a woman near me. She said, it's all in the heads. It's all in the head. And I heard that. And when she got down, I began practicing my parking according to the way they taught me. And today I park anywhere, because I understood. She said, it's all in the head. So talking about Sartre, you would say it's, and I was thinking, why did I have to tell this story for years that I couldn't park, and the test, what? It's not a problem to park. Now I have nothing to tell about me. I cannot tell that. I cannot tell anything else. So it reminds me of Sartre, that you may know. This is why I'm bringing in that way. That we decide that we are this and that. We just never did it before. And in a moment that you do it, yes, it's done. And that's it. And years disappeared. And false problems disappear as well. So we can go from here to two directions. Either you say to me, yes, I agree with Sartre, but, and because you're a philosopher and you know Sartre, I assume, I could say to you, let's begin by stating the objections, stating where Sartre is wrong, when it's not about just doing it now, okay? Do you want to think about this option? This is one way. Why Sartre is wrong about me in this case, okay? Or why Sartre is not so easy to implement, okay? If wrong is too hard. Another way is leaving Sartre out of the question, of the problem, of the discussion, and just thinking, what would it take for you to engage in those things that you think you missed on? What would it take? Not necessarily practically, but in terms of effort, problems, difficulties, okay? To make a list in which ways those activities enact in you, create in you some problems, some issues, some insecurities, some challenges, yes? In which way these activities are different from cerebral, and what is challenging about that. So do you accept these two questions? One is more focused on Sartre, I don't know if you thought about Sartre and why Sartre would be wrong or a little bit too shallow in your case, in this problem. And the other is forget about Sartre and forget about my story about the parking. Of course, it's more complicated when it comes to human relationship. So what kind of capacities it would take of you, yes, to develop, to put emphasis on, then we can discuss maybe they exist, maybe not, okay? So a list of what it would take to activate those other parts of you. So do you know now what you want to focus on, or do you have another idea maybe than these two?
Well, I think I would, let's say, challenge myself then and focus on the second one, where we leave Sartre out of it and focus on the second one.
And is the second one agreeable to you, or do you want to do something else than this?
It's agreeable, yes.
Okay, so when you have a list, okay, contact me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you.